I think, am I sharing my screen? Not yet. Let's share our screen quickly. And then let's go here. All right, can you see the Siddur I've opened on Safaria?
Yes, Rabbeinu.
Okay, good. So this is basically what you find when you open any Siddur. Doesn't matter if it's Ashkenazi or whatever. The Shacharit begins with, well, the day begins with morning blessings when we wake up when we open our eyes on our beds, right? So does anybody want to try and read here? Maybe Rabbi Chimdia, do you want to start us off and see if you can read for us this first blessing of the morning? All right. Let me see if it's connected. Yep. All right, maybe let's read together then. I think it's safer like that. Because it's either your microphone is off or you're not speaking. All right, so we read together. This is what we say.
Okay.
Do you want to read, please?
Okay. My microphone has been off.
Yeah.
Okay, I read.
Yes, please.
Baruch Ata Hashem Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Kedashanu Bomi Yizta Vaye Vo
That's Ivano.
Vezivanu Al
Al. Mm-hmm.
Al
Netilat.
Nistilat Hadayim.
That's a very good effort,
You,
Rabbi Jimdia. Thank you very much. So it says here, it's got a dagesh. The Beith has a dagesh.
Dagesh.
So so it's a bit of a strong sound. It says Baruch, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam
Olam Asher
Asher
Kedishanu
Kidshanu. Because here we have a dalet with a dagesh. So the dalet has a dagesh. And here we have two dots, which is the shewa or the shva. These two dots tell us that we must pronounce dalet as a sound without a vowel. So we have asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav vetzivanu al netilat Yadayim. So it's actually the name of the prayer, the name of the blessing. It's called Netilat Yadayim, which is the washing of the hands. The Ashkenazim pronounce it as Netilas Yadayim because they pronounce the second tav without a gesh as an S sound. But you can just say Netilat Yadayim to simplify. All right, good. That was Rabbi Chimdia. That was good. So we're gonna read this one line at a time. Any volunteer that wants to read the first line?
Baruch Ata Adonai
Mm-hmm.
Eloheinu Melech Haolam
Mm-hmm.
Asher Yizer At Hadom
Mm-hmm.
Ba
Be.
Be Takuma
Okay.
Takuma.
Uh-huh. Okay. I want to show you. Thank you very much. That was a very good attempt. I was talking a while ago with Rabbi Ikechuku, and he was saying that the Nikud sometimes gets very confusing.
Exactly.
And I'll show you. And I'll show you what happens here. It starts by Baruch Ata Hashem Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Yatzar Et Ha'adam Bechokma. Why is this Chokhmah? It's got a kamatz. Why is it a Chokhmah? So Hebrew is very unforgiving, right? It's a very unforgiving language. So we have here this word. Oops. So we have here chokhmah. Why do they put a kamatz here? So we have here, I'm going to write this like that. Chokhmah, which is wisdom. So why don't they use a cholem? This dot, let's say this was chet. This is the letter chet. Why don't they put a cholem, this dot, instead? If they want to make an O sound, why not put a cholem instead? Or why don't they do this? They put a chet with a vav and then a vav with a cholem. Why don't they do this? Sometimes in Hebrew, just to confuse us, I guess, or just because of the nature of the language, they use or pronounce a bigger chametz, a chametz that's bigger than this normal chametz. This is A. It's an A sound for chokhmah. This one now becomes an O sound. Be chokhmah. There's no cholem. Can you see? There's a kamat instead. So sometimes in Hebrew, what you see is not what you read. So this kamat becomes an O sound. It becomes chokhmah. For example, the English word everything in Hebrew is supposed to be kol, but you can write kol in Hebrew like this with the kamats or with a cholem like this. I forgot to put lamed here. There should be a lamed. All right, so sometimes they write it like this with, actually, that's a khirik. So sometimes they write it with a kamat, or sometimes they will use a cholem. And it's the same, it's kol, everything. But the way of writing it is different. Here it has a kamat. And here it's different, it has a cholem. So that phenomena that we saw here is exactly that. It says, et ha'adam, which means the human being, ha'adam be chokhmah. Blessed is Hashem, our God, King of the universe, who has done what? Who has formed, yatzar. We see this word a lot in the book of Genesis, quite a few times. Yatzar, which means formed, et ha'adam. He formed the human being, Adam, bechokhmah, with wisdom. But look, there's a kamat. All right. Anybody want to try and read the second line of this blessing? Okay, go for it. Whose hand is up? Shalva?
Rabbi, I have a question for you before. It's not for reading.
Okay. Okay.
Are you saying by the rule that you just explained that when we have two kamats together, the second one will sound like an O sound? Is that the rule? This is what I'm
No,
understanding.
no,
I'm
it's not a
sorry.
uh-huh. So it's not a rule yet, okay?
Oh, okay.
Because we are going to find the rule in the textbook, okay?
Okay.
So I'm gonna call this a phenomenon.
Okay, so you're explaining something that you will explain in details later on. This is what you're making us go through.
Exactly. So we
Okay.
find the grammatical rules in the textbook,
Mhm.
and then when we are trying to read the Siddur, we see something different every time. So when
Yes,
you are learning a
yes.
language, so when you're learning a language, you must learn the rules as you go along, but you must open your eyes for the phenomenon,
Okay.
right? So the phenomenon is just something different,
Yes,
right?
that's what I noticed, and I didn't know why. Okay, thank you. Thank you for
You
the
understand?
explanation. Yes, yes. Thank you
Exactly,
for.
exactly.
Okay.
Because if I have to teach you the rules the whole time, I'm gonna get bored and fall asleep.
Yes,
So
and you're helping us because this is the phenomenon that I keep seeing. I don't know. I don't understand
exactly,
why. Thank you.
exactly, no problem. So for example, here the kamatz is the same size for chokhmah, the O sound, and ma, the A sound. In some Hebrew text, it's not the same size. It's actually bigger. You find a bigger, longer kamat than the normal one. So if it's bigger, you know it's an O. But also Hebrew wants you to learn the pronunciation of the words without nikud, because you have to now write the word like this or read it like this without the nikud most of the time. You see, there's no nikud. And you still have to know that it's pronounced as chokhmah, even without the symbols, even without the nikud here. So Hebrew wants you to know the phenomenon and also memorize the pronunciation without nikud. So that when you read normal everyday text, you don't rely on the nikud.
Thank you.
All right. Who wants to read the second line? All right. The second line says, Uvra bo nekabim nekabim chalulim chalulim galui ve'yadua lifnei kiseh kevodecha. I'll read it again. Uvra bo nekabim nekabim chalulim chalulim galui ve'yadua lifnei kiseh kevodecha. Anybody want to try and read it now that you've heard it twice? Something to understand. Uvra and created, it comes from the word bara, uvra. And the reason why we use uvra is because the grammatical rule tells us when we use the letter vav that if the letter vav is before begat kefat, those 8 letters, begat kefat, we have the beit after the conjunction and. So there is and in English. So it's before a begat kefat letter, so there's no dagesh, right? So the letter says, or the word says, uvra. Actually, I think it's with an aleph. Let's check it out. Yeah, uvra. Now it has a dagesh. So this becomes an u sound, no longer ve. So we remove the dagesh to change the b of bara, which means create. We make it soft by removing the dagesh. It becomes uvra. Instead of ubara, it's uvra. Somebody's hand is up. Shalva?
Yes, you just answered it. Instead of when I see it, but instead of saying ubara, how do I know in future words that I don't know? Instead of saying ubara, I would say ubra. Instead
You
ubara.
have, yeah, you have to now say uvra because there's no dagesh.
Because don't have got dagesh. And for the
Yeah,
review,
so
Begat Tefat are the final, no, they are double letters. Begat
exactly,
Tefat. Okay,
exactly.
thank you.
This is what Shalva is saying,
Mhm.
because Begat Kefat, we have Beit, right? With a Dagesh, we also have a Veit with a V sound. So these ones are called pairs. In the previous videos, like 2 videos ago, we did this. So if you go to lesson 6 or 5, you will find Begat Kefat. So these are the pairs. That's what Shalva is saying. So the pair for bait is veit. So we remove the dagesh and it becomes a V sound. So now we say uvra instead of ubara. We say uvra, which is what we are seeing, the phenomenon that we are seeing here. All right, and then it says, anybody want to try, first of all, the third line before I continue reading? Anybody want to try read the third line?
I would like to, if it's okay.
Yeah, yeah, go for it.
שאם יפתח אחד מהם או יסתם אחד מהם אי אפשר להתקיים.
Very good. So I'm going to read it again because your line was breaking up a little bit. So it
Okay.
is She'im Yipateyach. Oh, there's a phenomenon here, an occurrence. So She'im Yipateyach. What's going on with this phenomenon? So we have this word here. We have Yod. We have Pei with the Dagesh. And then we have Tav and Chet. Yipateach. Now we got to put back the Nikud, which is Kamatz. This is Chirik, Kamatz, Segol, and then we have a Kamatz here. So how do we pronounce this word? This word is pronounced Yi, Ha, Te, Yach. Yipateyach. Why do we have the ya sound? Where does the ya sound come from? It should be yipatecha, but it's not yipatecha because there is no hey. There's no hey. All right, so there's no hey. It cannot be yipatecha at the end, but it has to be yipateyach. What happened here? Let's read. So yi pa te. In this case, the A, the patach comes before chet. Patach comes before chet. So what do I mean by this? I mean that when I pronounce, it's yi, pa, te, and a Y sound, yach, yach. So when there's no hey at the end, and the word ends with cha, we break the cha into 2. We add ach plus ya. So the ya comes first and the ch comes last. Reading from right to left. So yi pa te yach. Let's try and read it in context. She'im Yipateach. That's actually a kamatz, not, yeah, that this should be a kamatz because it has a dagesh. Automatically, when there's a dagesh, there should be a kamatz and not a patach. So yipateach. Yipateach. So the kamatz is sounded before the chet because afterwards there's no what? There's no hey.
Hey.
So exactly. Did you understand this little phenomenon? Everybody understand it?
To be honest, to me it's tricky because once you read,
Mm-hmm.
once you don't have the vowels, the rule
Exactly.
disappears. The rule disappears.
Exactly. That's exactly what happens. So if we get rid of all of this, my instinct says this is let me remove the dagesh because also it's not there. My instinct is yiftech. Is this yiftech? You know,
Mm.
we're trying to read a rabbinic document and we are wondering if this is yiftech or is this yefatach? Is this yiftech, yefatach, or what's going on here? So
O
what's really going
yipatach.
on is,
O
or
yipatach.
or you understand, so it gets more confusing and you don't know how to pronounce it. But Hebrew expects us to learn not only the spelling but also the correct
Word.
pronunciation. Yeah. So now you have to memorize. In Hebrew, you have to memorize everything. So it's yipateach. So now you go and memorize the correct pronunciation, which is yi pa te, and then the phenomenon is ya for the patach, yi pateach, even without nikud. Now let's give it back its nikud, it chirik, hamatz, segol, patach, yi pateach. Now we've
But it had
restored
a
the
long
correct pronunciation.
it had a long line in the tet.
But this is, let's see,
What does it mean to
this,
have that little long line between? Yes.
yeah. In my understanding, this line over here means two things. It's either a short segol, yipateach, it's a segol is made short, or actually, this is not the Bible, so it's not trope. So it's not a melody, but it shortens the segol. So let's go back a few lessons. This is segol, all right? And then this is also a segol, but it's a lot shorter. This is long, like a. This is short, like a, and this is even shorter. It's a, like this. A, 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 a. Yipatea, a short a. Yipatea. So we can even make it shorter. However, we're gonna see these variations in the future. I don't want to put them all in one at one go. But thank you for noticing that line. But the pronunciation doesn't change much. Yipateach. All right, and then it says Yipateach echad mehem o isatem, because there's a dagesh inside of the samech. Okay, so this letter that you see here is samech, which is this. Some people write it like this. Some people write it like that. This is the letter samech. And this is what you are seeing here. Yisatem echad mehem e. Now we have e. That's very interesting. So this phenomenon here, which is, I'm gonna write Aleph first, and then I'm gonna add what's called a chirik maleh. So this chirik plus the letter yud is called a chirik maleh, which means a complete chirik. Chirik maleh. You can go to lesson 6 and catch up at 7. Chirik maleh. So there's a phenomenon there. So Shalva read it as E. She didn't say E, which is E and Yud. She didn't say that. She didn't say E. She said mehem E. And the reason why it's one E and not two sounds, one syllable, is because of this chirik maleh, a complete chirik, which is a chirik plus Yud. That is a chirik maleh, which means a complete E sound, a complete E sound. And then, of course, Efshar le F, because it's a segol, Efshar with a patach, lehitkayem, lehitkayem. And then I'll continue to read Vela'amod lefanecha aflu sha'a echat, or echat, Baruch ata Adonai rofe kol, not kal, kol, beit kol basar umafli la'asot. Wow, there's two phenomenon here. There is there's kol. Which one is the other one? Hold on. Okay, maybe just one phenomenon, and that's. But I saw two. Hold on. Okay. There's two phenomena in one, in kol. So we have kol, which means everything here. Let's go write it down again. So this kol is different now because it doesn't have a dagesh inside of it. So let's go and write it here. This is the kol that we see. Two things are interesting about this kol, which we must note. There's no dagesh. And they are using kamatz. An A sound, which is A, but it becomes an O, and then no dagesh. You see? No dagesh. If we have to read it without nikud, it will be like this. And still, we must know that it means kol. Which kol? Is it a kol with a dagesh and a kamatz? Is it a kol with a dagesh and a cholem? We don't know. But what we know is that this is kol. So we memorize the pronunciation irrespective of the spelling of the vowels. So if we know it's kol, we can read it anywhere, anyhow, because we know that this is kol. Make sense? All right, so for sake of translation, this was the blessing. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, King of the universe, who formed man with wisdom and created within him openings and hollows. This is this nekabim, nekabim, chalulim, chalulim. It is obvious and known in the presence of your glorious throne that if one of them were ruptured, if one of them were blocked, it would be impossible to exist and stand in your presence, even for a short while. Blessed are you, Adonai, who heals all flesh and performs wonders. This word basar, just for vocabulary's sake, basar means flesh. It also means meat. When you go buy meat from a kosher butcher, you are going to buy basar. So it's flesh, meat, etc. And of course, you know that this is kol. Even if we take off the kamatz, it's still kol, because we memorized the spelling or the construct, which is kaf and lamed. It gives us kol. It doesn't matter if we spell it this way or this way. At the end of the day, it's kol. All right, we're going to go to the textbook now. Any questions? Does anybody have a question?
No, thank you.
All right, so if you're confused, just go back to the previous videos in the playlist and go through them slowly until you understand all the different vowels. Just 1 second, I want to get rid of all of this. Just for interest's sake, have these lessons been helping a little bit, or did you guys become more confused?
It's helping, honestly.
Okay, that's good to know. All right, so let's go into the textbook now. Let me see. I'm still sharing my screen, correct? You can still see my screen, that's good. All right, this is where I stopped when I did the lesson. When I recorded the lesson, I stopped at the introduction of lesson 5, where we had the designations of Abba or Av, which means father, Av, and M, which means mother, Av, and M. So we have Av, and then we have M here. So this is father, obviously, and this is mother. So if we were to put the nikud back, so we'll have Av with a kamatz and M with a segol. This is a segol, this is a kamatz. All right, so Av becomes Abba. So when you're speaking to your father, who's Av, you can say Av, but it doesn't sound colloquially correct. It is correct, but it's not colloquial. So a lot of people, they don't say Av, they will say Abba. So Av becomes Abba, which means father, and M, which means mother. In most Jewish cases, it becomes Ima. Ima and Abba, mother and father. The generic term is Av. The generic term is M. But in colloquial or practical use, Abba and Ima. And then we have the children. So the son is a Ben. Ben. The woman or the daughter is a Bat. So in this family, there are two daughters. There's a Ben and there's Banot, which means two daughters. So we have Ben, and then we have Bat. And the plural here would be Banot. And the plural for Ben would be Benay. So when you hear Benay Israel, you understand that is the plural masculine. And this is a plural feminine, Banot. Ben, Bat. And then we see that there's two daughters. Two daughters together, they become what? Achot, sisters, literally sisters. Achot, sisters. This girl is Achot to the boy. When the boy says sister, he says Achot, Achot Miriam, for example. When this woman says brother to her brother, she says Ach. So Ach is brother, Achot is sister. So now we have Ach with Chet, which gives us brother. And then we have Achot which gives us sister. Let me go. It says sister, but literally this means sisters. But we use it as singular. It's singular and it's also plural. Right? For example, if we say Yaakov, Ach, Shalva. Shalva with a bait or with a vav? How do I spell your name in Hebrew?
Vav.
Okay. Does it have a hey?
Ken.
Okay. So if I say Yaakov, Ach Shalva, it means Jacob, Shalva's brother. Right? So this is Jacob, Shalva's brother. If I say, for example, let's say the girl's name is Yara. Yara Vesara. Achot Yoram. Can anybody tell me what this sentence means? Yara Vesara Achot Yoram. Can somebody tell me what this sentence means? It means that Yara, yes, whose hand is up? Yeah, go for it, Shalva.
I want to try.
Okay.
It would be Yaakov.
No, this one.
No.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. You go. Oh, it's me. Okay. Shalva's brother, Yaakov.
Good.
Where are you?
This one.
Are you asking for the
Okay.
first line?
Yeah,
yes,
this one.
yes.
This one here.
Yira. Yira. Okay. Sarah's brother Ira. Okay, I'm sorry, I can't. Never mind.
Okay. So Yara and Sarah are.
Oh yes, you're right. It's Yara ve Sarah. Yara and Sarah
Are
are
Yoram's
sisters.
sisters.
Oh,
So Yara
I'm sorry.
Vesara Achot. Oh, actually, I made a mistake here. It's a tav, not a. It's supposed to be a tav. I beg your pardon. This is supposed to be tav, not hey. So Yara Vesara Achot Yoram, which means Yara and Sarah are Yoram's sisters. So what am I trying to prove? What I'm trying to prove is Achot means sister, singular. Okay? This girl is Achot to her brother Ach. This girl is also Achot to her other sister, and the sister is also Achot to her sister. This girl is Achot to her brother Ach. And so, since Achot is both singular and plural, we have two examples. Yaakov Ach Shalva, which means Jacob, Shalva's brother, or is Shalva's brother, but I don't want to use is, because if I use is, then I must use who. And this is not the grammar that I want to do today. So let's not use is or who. We're just going to use plain Hebrew, which is Jacob, Shalva's brother. Yaakov, Ach, Shalva. And then here we have Yara, Vesara, Achot, Yoram, which means Yara and Sarah are Yoram's sisters. Okay, achot, because there's two of them. And how do we know if there's two of them? It's because we use the conjunction ve, which means in English and. So Yara and Sarah, achot Yoram, they are Yoram's sisters. But notice in Hebrew, there's no they and there's no are. This doesn't exist in Hebrew, only in English. So Hebrew just gives you the message. Yara, Vesara, Achot, Yoram, and that's it. All right. So we go back to the textbook a little bit, and it says here possessive pronoun suffixes. I'll just make this bigger a little bit so that everybody can see better. It says here Hebrew marks possession with pronomial suffixes on nouns. Oh, that's a big word, pronomial suffixes. I wonder what this means. In this lesson, we encounter three of those suffixes: the first person singular, which means my, and also the third person singular, which is his or hers. So it says here, o. This is vav, and cholem is the o sound. Okay? This is o, and a feminine, which is ah. Ah. So when you see kamat over here, accompanied by a hey with the dot, this is an extra breath. Ah. Can you hear it? It's an extra breath. Ah. And often, when used, suffixes are added to the word, the vowels of the noun stem, contract, or shortened. For example, we have here Shem, which means name, Shem. Sorry, this is Shema. Sorry, I beg your pardon. This is Shema, which comes from Shem. So Shem means name. Shema or Shema means that's what we call the person. All right? Let's go and see what we can do here.
Rav Hillel, would you allow me to say something?
Yes, you can.
Yes, I apologize. A few minutes ago, I was with earphones of one source, and in the computer, and I was talking while you were giving the class, and I didn't notice. I apologize.
No, that's fine. So what does this say? This says Baruch. It says Baruch Hu U Baruch Shemo. Baruch Hu U Baruch Shemo. Can somebody tell me what this means? Baruch Hu U Baruch Shemo. Does anybody know what it means? Yes, go for it.
Blessed is he, and blessed is his name.
Thank you very much, brother. So this Shemo comes from the Shem that we saw in the textbook. Shem. which means name. But now we say Shemo, which means his name, right? With a cholam ne. So his name. So we're praising Hashem. We say Baruch Hu U Baruch Shemo. So blessed is his name. So this part here, more, is a possessive pronoun, a pronomial possessive pronoun. But I don't really care about the names of it. You don't have to memorize this pronomial possessive pronoun designation. You don't have to memorize that. I just want you to understand that if you see a vav with a cholem after shem, which means name, it becomes shmo. So we give it a shewa, and also that gets a shewa, shmo, which means his name. So O shows possession, it's his name. And what does the textbook tell us here? It said that often these suffixes are added to a word, the vowels of the noun stem contract and are shorter. So from Shem, what is the contraction? The Shewa, Shmo, Shem, Shmo. So we cannot say Shemo, really. We have to say Baruchu I Baruch Shmo. Not necessarily Shemo, but Baruch Shmo, because of the Shewa. I can even take away this one, actually. I can even take away this Shewa and leave it like this. Baruch Shmo, and not Shemo. But if I take away all of this Nikodim, sorry. If I take away all this Nikodim here, and there's no more Nikud, nobody knows how to pronounce the words. Then we can say, maybe it's Baruchu ve Baruch Shemo, but we're not sure. So we have to go back to the Nikud and understand that this is Kaf. This is Kaf Sofit. Oops. This is, let me just use an eraser here. Excuse me. So this is Kaf Sofit, which means it's Kaf at the end of the sentence. And this is part of Begat Kefat. Begat Kefat. So where's the Kaf? It's in the K. So because it's a Begat Kefat, there we have Kaf, and then we have Kaf at the end of the sentence. So this is the letter Kaf. Make sense? All right, so let's go back to... So now we know that this is Baruch, because it has a Kaf. Now, here's an interesting thing. This same Kaf should be like this as well. It should be a Kaf. With a Dagesh, it's a Kaf. Without a Dagesh, it's not a Kaf anymore, it's a Kaf. Like in Arabic, Kaf. You see? Because you don't say Baruch. Does anybody say Baruch? No. It's Baruch. So that means that this Kaf Sofit is actually not the K sound like Kaf, but also a Q sound, which is kaf, sofit. With a dagesh, it's a kaf. Without a dagesh, it's a kaf. And then it has a sofit because it's part of begat kefat. So it's baruch. Baruchu, u, baruch, shmo. Not shemo, shmo. Baruchu, u, baruch, shmo. Now I'm going to take away the nikud again, and I'd like someone to read for us this expression that we say when we hear someone bless Hashem's name. When someone blesses Hashem's name, immediately we say, Baruchu o Baruch Shmo. Does anybody want to read? Try and read without nikud what this means. Can somebody read this without nikud? Baruch u Baruch Shemo. Baruchu u Baruch Shmo.
May I have a question, please?
Go for it.
Why don't you say if Baruchu ve, if I don't have any nikud, Baruch Shem?
That's
Why
another
everything?
very good. Yeah, that's another very good question. So the reason why we say U Baruch Shemo, it's very, very interesting because the rule says that if we have here begat kefat, so B here is for bait. So the rule of begat kefat tells us that if we're going to use the conjunction and in English,
Uh-huh.
in Hebrew, we must take away the dagesh. Here's the dagesh, right?
Uh-huh.
The rule says we must take away the dagesh. And then we pronounce the following bait as a V sound. That's what the rule says. So if we follow the rule, it says Baruchu u Baruch Shmo. But it sounds very, very wrong when you say Baruch. It doesn't sound like Hebrew. So again, Hebrew confuses us and says, yes, I know I made a rule about Begat Kefat, but you cannot say Uvaruch. It sounds wrong. But you can say in creation, Uvra. In creation, we can say Uvra, but now we cannot say Uvaruch because it just sounds wrong. So we forget this rule and we say Ubaruch Shmo. So we pronounce it as if it had a dagesh, but there's no dagesh. You see how the rules change and confuse a lot in Hebrew, but it doesn't get confusing if you memorize the phenomenon. You see? Does it answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So, no problem. So the phenomenon is something you must always look out for and ask yourself a question. Why now do we have to sound it as a B and not a V, but the rule told us it was a V? You just listen. And if you listen to a chazan, you listen to someone reading the Torah in Hebrew, you're going to hear that sometimes things are not pronounced the way they look. But we are learning here little bit by little bit, so eventually we will understand what's going on. All right, so let's go into that other textbook just a little bit. This is now the modern Hebrew textbook, and we were learning sentence structure. And it says here the pattern, which is Yoram Betal Aviv. What does that mean? Betel Aviv. Yoram Betel Aviv, which means Yoram is in Tel Aviv. It says the same is true for sentences like the cat's in the closet or Shmulik is over there. The letters form grandma, for example, sentences with an adverbial, they are predicate. Either there's no word for be. What does this mean for be? It means in Hebrew, the verb to be is not there, like in English. So what do we do for the verb to be? That's a question. What do we do for the verb to be? We go back to the textbook and we look at examples. This one says, Achatulim ba'aron. Achatulim ba'aron. So I'm going to make this bigger so that you can see it. All right. What tools can I use here? I'm just going to use a highlighter. So it says here, the cats are in English, are in the closet. Because in English, we have to be, so I am, you are, he, and she is, they are, and we are. This is English because of the verb to be, which becomes different things when I conjugate it. But we don't have this in Hebrew. So now what are we relying on? We are relying on the sentence construct. The construct becomes important. So what do I mean by construct? Ha. Can somebody tell me what ha is in English? What is the definite article ha in English?
May I?
Go for it.
The.
Good. So now we are breaking down the words, the construct. So there, let's use another color here. Fatulim, which means cats. So we have ha, which is there. We use that color. Can somebody tell me what it means? Ba'aron. Ba'aron. Ha-chatulim ba'aron. Can somebody tell me what it means? Ba'aron. Yes?
Shalom, shalom, Abel.
Shalom, shalom, Akhot Miriam.
I want to try. Ba Aaron. I think it means in Ba Aaron. Ba like is in the closet.
Very good. So ba is a separate part of the construct. So ba is in. Very good. That's very good, Akhot Miriam. Thank you. And then Aron means a closet. It can mean a box. It can mean a box that you use to keep your stuff. It can even be a wardrobe sometimes. So there you have it. How many parts are in this construct? Can somebody tell me how many parts are in this construct?
4.
There's
have
4
4.
parts. Good. So in English, it says the cat's inside the closet. Actually, there's no there in English. It says the cat's inside closet. The cat's inside closet. but we have to fix it into English, and it says the cats are in the closet because we saw here that Hebrew doesn't have the verb to be. So it doesn't have are, so we have to help Hebrew to speak good English, and it says the cats are in the closet. That was very good, guys. That was very good. So let's do the second one. It says Shmulik Shama. Shmulik Shama. Very interesting. So
Shama.
how many constructs do we have here? Does anybody know?
Only two?
How many?
2 or 3?
We have 3. I think.
So okay, so let's see. 2 or 3. Let's see if this is the case. So we have here the subject or the person is Shmulik. And it says in English, he is over there. What does it say here? It says Shama. So Shama is this time, it's not about listening. It's not Shma or Shem, a name. It's Shama. He's over there. I'm going to go with 3 constructs, which is Sham. And the last one, I'm going to put the hay over there. So Shmulik.
Yes. To decide that he's a male, that name is a male.
Exactly, to say that he's a male, but also it's a designation of he's there, like Shama he's over there. If I say
Shama. It would be
if I say
Shama or Shama? Shama.
yeah, if I say Shama, or
Uh-huh.
actually I can't say Shama because if I want to use Shem, if I want to use Shin and Mem,
Shama.
I must remove the kamats. You see.
Mhm.
So it would be Shmulik Sham, and Shmulik Sham doesn't make sense. So it's a place and a designation where he is. I have to add the kamats and the hay to show a point of designation. Shmulik Shama. Shmulik Shama. He's there, over there. You see?
Yeah.
So it's not so much gender, but it has to do with the designation of in space. Where is he in space? Okay, so let's go to do the last example. It says here, so we understand here that there's 3 constructs. It's the subject, a preposition of place, and the hay helps us to understand that it's a place. And then we have here hamiktav misavta. Hamiktav misavta. How many constructs are in this one? Can somebody try and guess? Actually, properly, this should not be a K sound. It should be a K sound. Hamiktav misavta. Hamiktav misavta. How many constructs are here? Can somebody tell me?
May I?
Uh-huh.
I think it's 4.
Okay. Tell me which one first.
It would be.
And
Miktav would be the second one.
okay.
Me. It helps so much, the colors. Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
Miktav should be in the same green color, no?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
The other me, it would be in another color. It's another section, I would say. I'm not sure.
Uh-huh. So I'm gonna
Me.
do this one.
Me is
Uh-huh.
And then Safta
Okay.
is
Okay.
the grandma.
Yeah. So ha is what? Is there, right?
Yes.
So let's see miktav. Actually, you are right here. It should be one. It should be one because it doesn't mean from. So let's do one color here. So miktav is the subject. Hamiktav, the letter. And then we have mi, which means it is.
From.
It is from.
Uh-huh.
So that's 1, 2, 3 parts of a sentence. Then it says here, savta. Now, I wonder if this is sabta or savta.
Safta.
I think so, because sabta would be a name of a person and not
No.
a designation.
Va.
Yeah.
Safta. Sav.
Yeah.
Savta.
Savta, which is
Grandma.
grandmother. And then we had this one as the. All right, does this all make sense? This is a little bit, but I wonder if it makes sense to you that we have constructs in the, when you're reading Hebrew, you're not just reading a long line, but you must learn to know how the construct goes. Where is the article? Where's the subject? Where's the preposition? And what are we talking about? We're talking about the noun, Aaron, the name of a person, Shmulik. What's happening to Shmulik? He's over there, a preposition. Shama is over there, a preposition. And then we have the letter. We have here the, which is a designation, which is a definite article. And then we have miktav, which is a letter. And then mi, a preposition, it's coming from savta, which means grandmother. Okay, it says here, or one uses one of the particles of being, which is who, he, hem, and hen. This I'm going to introduce next week. We're going to learn this from next week's lesson. We're going to stop here for today. Did you guys learn something today?
Yes. Yes.
Good. And don't worry if you came late. Obviously, there's going to be a video, so you can watch this. Maybe tonight or whenever.
that's
Baruch
me.
Hashem. Hmm?
I said that's me because I came late.
Yeah. That's Achot Miriam.